Hi everyone, and welcome to the English podcast listening story, From Nothing to Something. In this series, we follow the inspiring journey of Nina, a young girl from a small village whose dreams begin in a humble garage. With hard work, courage, and the support of her father, she learns that no matter where you start in life, your passion and determination can lead to amazing things. This story is designed especially for English learners who want to improve their listening skills while enjoying a meaningful and uplifting tale. So find a quiet place, put on your headphones, and get ready to listen carefully as we dive into Nina's incredible journey from nothing to something. Nina grew up in a small garage behind her house. The walls smelled like oil, and the floor was always dusty. Her father, Mr. Salim, was a quiet, hard-working mechanic. He didn't have much, but his hands could fix anything. After school, Nina would sit on an old stool and watch him work. She liked the sound of tools, the rhythm of turning bolts. While other children played games, she learned how engines breathed. Mr. Salim often said, "These hands kept us going. But your future will run on something even stronger, your mind." One night, Nina asked, "Daddy, can someone like me become an engineer?" He looked at her, eyes full of oil, love, and pride. "Definitely," he said softly. "You'll build things I can only imagine." And right there, surrounded by grease and old machines, a powerful dream was born. Nina started high school in the nearby town. She was the only girl in her class who smelled like engine oil. The other students wore shiny shoes and carried new bags. Nina's backpack had stains, and her hands still had grease under the nails. Some kids laughed at her. They whispered, "She belongs in a garage, not in a classroom." But Nina didn't respond. She just looked down and kept studying. At night, she worked on homework by a single light bulb while her father fixed bikes beside her. He once asked, "Are you all right, Nina?" She nodded. "They don't have to understand me, Daddy. I understand my dream." Mr. Salim smiled, proud but quiet, because even though she was still small, her will was stronger than steel. And deep inside, Nina knew, she didn't need to be like the others. She just needed to keep going. One hot afternoon, the classroom fan suddenly stopped. Students groaned and complained, wiping sweat from their faces. The teacher tried to call the school repairman, but no one answered. Nina quietly stood up. She looked at the wires, opened the panel, and used a pen and a hairpin to adjust something. In just a few minutes, the fan buzzed back to life. Everyone stared in shock. The same girl they laughed at had just fixed what no one else could. The teacher smiled and said, "Where did you learn that?" Nina shrugged. "In my father's garage." For the first time, the class clapped. Not because she looked different, but because they saw what was inside her. And Nina smiled too, not for attention, but because she felt one step closer to her dream. The school announced a science fair. Students rushed to sign up with big ideas, robots, solar models, and high-tech projects. Nina felt nervous. She didn't have fancy tools or money, but she had an idea, and her father's toolbox. Every evening, she worked in the garage beside Mr. Salim. She used old wires, broken toys, and scrap parts to build a small water-powered motor. Her fingers got cut. Some nights, she cried quietly. But Mr. Salim always said, "Keep building, Nina. You're doing something special." On the day of the fair, her project looked small next to the others. Some students laughed. "That looks like junk," one whispered. But when Nina turned it on, the motor started spinning, powered only by water. The judges were amazed. One said, "This is creativity with real-life purpose." She didn't just win first prize, she won respect. And as she held the certificate, she whispered, "This is just the beginning." After the science fair, Nina's confidence grew. But school was still hard. Some teachers didn't understand her. "Your dreams are too big for a mechanic's daughter," one said quietly. Nina felt the weight of those words. At night, she asked her father, "Do you really think I can do this?" Mr. Salim smiled and said, "Listen, Nina. The world will doubt you, but you must never doubt yourself. Your hands have fixed more than machines, they've built courage." Nina took a deep breath. She knew the road ahead was long, but now she was ready. With her father's words in her heart, she would keep moving forward. Nina had never worked so hard in her life. For weeks, she stayed up late into the night, reading textbooks under the dim light of a small lamp. Her fingers were often stained with grease from helping her father, but now they trembled with nervousness as the big engineering exam approached. On the morning of the test, Nina felt her heart pounding. She sat at her desk surrounded by classmates who seemed confident and well prepared. The exam started, and the questions were harder than she expected. Some problems made her doubt herself. Could she really solve them? But then she remembered her father's words. "Never doubt yourself, Nina. Your hands have fixed more than machines, they've built courage." She closed her eyes for a moment, took a deep breath, and faced the paper again. Slowly, carefully, she worked through each question. Weeks later, the results came back. Nina had passed with flying colors, better than she ever dreamed. It wasn't just a victory in school, it was a victory in her heart and mind. She felt stronger, ready to face whatever came next. Nina's hard work did not go unnoticed. A respected local engineer named Mr. Kapoor visited her school one day and was impressed by her determination. He offered her an internship at his workshop, a chance to learn with real machines and skilled workers. Nina was excited but also afraid. The workshop was large and noisy, filled with machines she had never seen before. She worried she wouldn't keep up or that others might look down on her because she was just a girl from a small village. On her first day, she felt overwhelmed. The engines roared louder than any she had worked on before, and the tools were different from what she was used to. But she did not give up. She asked questions, listened carefully, and worked patiently on small tasks. Her hands moved with care, remembering her father's lessons. Her mentor noticed her effort. "You have the spirit of a true engineer," he said with a smile. That simple praise gave Nina a new confidence. She realized she was moving closer to her dream, step by step. One sunny afternoon, as Nina helped her father in the garage, a letter arrived. Her hands shook as she opened the envelope. It was from a prestigious engineering college far from home. Her eyes scanned the letter, and a smile slowly spread across her face. She had been accepted. Nina ran to her father, the letter clutched in her hand. He smiled warmly and pulled her into a tight hug. "This is your future, Nina. You earned it with your hard work and courage." Tears filled her eyes as she looked at the place where she had learned so much, the small garage filled with grease, dreams, and hope. Though she was excited, Nina knew the road ahead would be filled with new challenges. But with her father's love in her heart and her own determination, she felt ready to face the world. That day, a new chapter began, one built from nothing, growing into something beautiful. Nina arrived at college full of hope and nerves. The campus was huge, and the students came from all over the country. She sometimes felt small and unsure, missing the quiet comfort of her father's garage. Her first big assignment was to design a simple machine. Many students used the latest software and expensive tools. Nina had only her hard-earned knowledge and determination. She worked late nights, sketching and building a small prototype from scraps she found at the workshop. When she presented her project, the professors were surprised. They saw not just a machine, but the story of a girl who had built her dreams from the ground up. One professor said, "Your work shows true creativity and heart." Nina smiled quietly, feeling proud but humble. She knew her journey was just beginning, and she was ready for every step. Years passed. Nina graduated with honors and was offered a job at a leading engineering company. She returned home to her village, not as the mechanic's daughter, but as a respected engineer. Her first project was to help build a new water system for her community. She used everything she had learned, from her father's garage to the college classrooms. When the new system started working, the whole village celebrated. Her father stood beside her, eyes shining with pride. "You did it, Nina," he said softly. She smiled and replied, "We did it, Papa. This is for all of us." Nina's journey had started with Greece and dreams. Now, it was a story of hope, courage, and the power to change the world. Thank you for joining us on Nina's amazing journey, from a small garage filled with grease and hope, to becoming a confident engineer making a difference in her community. Her story teaches us that success is not about where you come from, but about the strength to keep going, even when things get tough. If Nina's story inspired you, please like this video, share it with friends, and subscribe to our channel for more uplifting stories and helpful English lessons. Don't forget to leave a comment below about what part of Nina's journey touched you the most. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, keep believing in yourself, keep working hard, and remember, every great dream starts with a single step.